Someone moved away, and the human heart refused to let go. In the vastness of space, across cities or galaxies, something remains the same when someone you care about is gone. A piece of your heart feels missing. This is the story of one human who felt that ache, refused to let it stay forever. The park was quiet, except for the soft sound of leaves rustling in the wind. A wooden bench sat under a big old tree. Sam sat on it every afternoon after school. It had once been their benches and Lila's. Now it was just his. Lila had moved 3 months ago. Her parents found new jobs on another colony, far from Earth, far from him. He had smiled when she left, said goodbye without tears, and waved like everything was okay. It wasn't. After school, Sam still walked to the same park. He still carried 2 orange sodas, one for him, one for her. He still sat under the tree and talked out loud like she was there, but she wasn't. The bottle he brought for her stayed unopened. Maybe she's sitting under a tree too, he whispered, trying to smile, but the smile never stayed. It slipped away like the wind that carried her laughter into memory. At school, people noticed. Sam wasn't as loud as before, didn't joke as much. His teacher said he seemed distracted. His best friend Tom asked if he was okay. Yeah, Sam always said, but no, he wasn't. He missed her laugh. He missed how she always hummed quietly when reading. He missed how they used to dream about exploring the stars together. She had always believed they could do anything. Sam felt lost without her. He wanted to call, but what would he say? That he felt like the world was dimmer without her. That his days were quiet and cold. He was afraid. What if she had made new friends? What if she didn't miss him like he missed her? The worst thought was the one he couldn't stop. What if she had already moved on? Still, he came to the park. One day something changed. As Sam sat on the bench, a little girl walked up to him. She looked about 6 and held a drawing in her hand. "Are you sad?" she asked, her eyes big and curious. Sam blinked, surprised. "What? You look like my brother when he's sad. He misses his friend too." Sam smiled a little. "Yeah, I miss someone." The little girl handed him her drawing. "Draw something for her," she said. "My brother draws rockets. Says it helps." Sam looked at the paper, and it was full of stars, planets, 2 stick figures holding hands in space. He felt something stir in his chest, something small, but bright. "Thanks," he said softly. That night, Sam didn't just lie in bed staring at the ceiling like usual. He pulled out his old sketchbook. It had been months since he opened it. On the first page, he drew their bench. Then he drew Lila next to him. They were smiling. He added a rocket in the background. The kind they always talked about building one day. The next day, Sam went to the park again, but this time, he brought his sketchbook. He started drawing every day. 1 page for each memory. 1 page for each feeling he couldn't say out loud. And slowly, something changed inside him. He wasn't just missing her. He was remembering why she mattered, and why it mattered to not give up. Sam knew he had to reach out. He didn't know what he would say, or if she would answer, but he couldn't let fear keep him quiet anymore, because humans don't let go of what matters. They reach across stars, across silence, across fear, and in that way, Sam decided he would try. Someone moved away, and the human heart refused to let go. When someone you care about leaves, it feels like the world shifts. But humans don't just give up. Even in silence, the heart keeps trying. In this part, Sam takes his first brave steps to reconnect, but finds it's not so easy. The wind was colder today. The trees had lost most of their leaves, and the sky was gray. Sam sat on the bench, sketchbook in his lap, jacket zipped all the way up. His fingers were cold, but he kept drawing. Today, he was sketching a spaceship. Not a real one, but the kind he and Lila used to imagine when they were kids. Big engines, curved windows, and their names written on the side in bold letters. Stared at the drawing then. Slowly, he turned to a blank page and wrote 3 words at the top. "Hi, Lila, it's me." His pen froze. What was he supposed to say after that? He had opened her contact page on his communicator so many times. He always looked at the screen and then locked it again. He just didn't know how to start. How do you tell someone you miss them without sounding strange? What if she had changed? What if he had changed? Still, he kept writing, "Hi, Leela, it's me. I hope you're doing okay. I still sit at our bench sometimes. I draw now. You always told me I should try more. I'm trying now." He paused again. "I miss you." Those 3 words sat on the page like tiny weights, honest and simple. He read the message again and again. It felt small. It's too small to carry. Everything he felt. Still, he took a deep breath, typed it on his communicator, and stared at the blue send button. His finger hovered over it. Then he locked the screen again and looked away. "I can't," he whispered. He wanted to reach out, but something inside kept holding him back. Fear, maybe doubt. Just then, his friend Tom walked by and noticed him. "Hey man, you okay?" Sam smiled weakly. "Yeah, just thinking." Tom sat beside him. "You still miss her?" Sam nodded. Tom looked out at the empty playground. "No, people don't stay the same. But if they really care, they'll be happy you reached out even if it's been a while." "I know," Sam said. "But what if she forgot about me?" Tom shrugged. "What if she didn't?" Sam sighed. That night, he lay in bed, staring at the screen of his communicator again. The unsent message blinked softly, waiting. He closed his eyes. The next morning, Sam walked through the hallway at school. It was a bulletin board covered with pictures from last year's science fair. One picture showed him and Lila holding a tiny robot they built together. She was laughing. He was too. Sam stared at the picture for a long time. Then he whispered, "I'm not giving up." He ran to the library, opened the school computer, and logged into his communicator again. He read the message one more time, and this time he hit send. His heart thudded. He stared at the screen like it might explode, but it didn't. It just said, "Message delivered," and that was it. He waited. 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10. Nothing. Still, Sam smiled. Because he had finally tried. That evening, he sat at the park again. The sky was turning orange, and the wind had settled. He brought 1 orange. Soda. Just 1. He placed it beside him and looked up at the stars slowly appearing in the sky. "Leela," he whispered, "wherever you are, I hope you're happy. But I also hope you remember me." His communicator stayed silent. But in his heart, something was lighter, warmer. He hadn't fixed everything. He still missed her. But now, he wasn't holding it all inside. And that mattered. Because humans don't give up when someone matters. They keep showing up. They keep trying even when it's hard. Even when it hurt, Sam leaned back on the bench and smiled. Just a little. He had sent the message. Now, he would wait with hope. Someone moved away, and the human heart refused to let go. In the quiet space between sending a message and getting a reply, hope is tested. But humans don't give up so easily. Even in silence, they wait with hearts full of longing. In strength they didn't know they had. The message had been sent. Sam checked his communicator every few minutes, even though he told himself not to. In class, at lunch, and even while brushing his teeth, he found himself glancing down at the screen. No reply. He told himself it was okay. Maybe she was busy. Maybe her communicator wasn't working. Maybe she needed time. But every minute felt like a heavy hour at school. He sat alone again at lunch. His friend Tom gave him a small nod as if to say, "Still no answer?" Only shook his head. He didn't feel like talking. Later at home, Sam sat by the window. The stars above blinked. Gently. Far away. Somewhere out there, Lila was living her life. Maybe she had new friends, new places, new dreams. Did she even think about him? He opened his sketchbook and flipped through the pages. So many drawings of their memories, so many dreams they had shared. He turned to a blank page and wrote, "Still, no message, but I'm not giving up." Then he drew a lighthouse. It stood tall on a cliff, shining across the sea. At the base, he added a tiny figure alone, but still holding a light. The next few days passed slowly. Still no reply. Each time his communicator blinked, his heart jumped, but it was always something else. School updates ads. A reminder too. Update his system never, Leela. One evening, he returned to the park again. The bench looked older now, though it hadn't changed. The cold air made him zip his jacket up tight. He sat down and held the orange soda in both hands. I wonder if you even saw it, he whispered. Or if you wanted to forget. His eyes stung a little. He blinked quickly and looked away. But then, as he stared at the sky, something strange happened. He remembered something Lila used to say. Even when it's cloudy, the stars are still. There, you just have to believe they're shining. He smiled a little.
Ow!
It sounded silly, but it gave him comfort. Maybe she didn't reply yet, but maybe she would. And until then, he would believe she still remembered. Still cared. That night, Sam took out his old notebook again and wrote, "The stars are still there. I just can't see them yet." He didn't cry, but he felt a quiet ache in his chest. The kind that comes from missing someone so deeply you almost forget what it feels like not to miss them. Still, he drew again. He drew the bench. This time, he drew two figures again, him and Leela, but they weren't together. They were each on different benches, far apart. But between them, he drew a thread of light thin, glowing, connecting them. He stared at it for a long time, because that's what hope felt like. Days turned to a week, still no reply. Sam's heart felt tired, but he didn't give up. Each morning, he checked his communicator. Each night, he wrote a new page in his sketchbook. He didn't send another message, didn't want to seem desperate. But he also didn't stop believing. At school, he began to talk to people more. Not much, just a little. His friend Tom noticed. "You seem better," Tom said one day. Sam gave a soft smile. "I don't know if I'm better, but I'm trying." Tom nodded. That's enough sometimes. Sam still missed her deeply, but something was changing inside him. Even without a reply, he had learned something important. Missing someone didn't mean you were broken. It meant you had something worth missing, and that was beautiful, when its own way. One night, just as he was about to sleep, Sam's communicator buzzed softly. He blinked and picked it up. Heart pounding. One new message. From Leela. His hand shook slightly as he opened it. "Hi, Sam. I saw your message. I'm sorry it took me so long. I didn't know what to say. I miss you too. So much. I still think about our bench. About everything. I didn't forget. Do you still draw rockets?" Sam's eyes filled. With tears, but this time they weren't from sadness. He held the communicator close to his chest. She remembered. She missed him too. The light had returned. Asterisk, someone moved away, and the human heart refused to let go. When someone finally answers your call across the silence, it doesn't fix everything, but it's a beginning. In this part, Sam and Lila begin to reconnect, slowly and carefully. Like rebuilding a bridge across space, Sam couldn't stop smiling. Lila had replied. Her words were simple, but they meant everything. "I miss you too."
Ow.
Those 4 words echoed in his heart like a song he hadn't heard in a long time. For a moment, the months of silence didn't feel so heavy anymore. That night, Sam didn't even sleep. He lay on his bed, staring at the message again and again. Then he opened his sketchbook and started drawing without thinking. He drew a small planet, floating in space. On it sat a single tree, and beneath the tree were 2 figures, him and Leela, each holding a soda, smiling. The next morning, Sam typed slowly, carefully, thinking about every word. "I still draw rockets. I filled a whole book since you left. Do you want to see?" Waited, heart beating fast. This time, the deep reply came only 10 minutes later. "Yes, please send one. I miss those silly ideas we had." Sam took a picture of his latest drawing and sent it. It was a rocket shaped like a soda can, with tiny wings. "It's the orange soda shuttle," he wrote. Lila sent back a laughing emoji. "It's perfect." They talked all evening. Out their new schools, about the changes, and about small things like her new favorite snack and how much she missed Earth's weather. Sam felt nervous at first. What if she didn't laugh like before? What if things felt different? But the more they talked, the more it felt like the old days. It's familiar, warm, and safe. He still missed her. Yes, but now the missing came with hope. The next few days were filled with messages. Short ones during lunch, long ones before bed. Photos, silly doodles, and questions like, "Do you still listen to that space music?" Or "Remember that time we tried to build a moon map and got glue everywhere?" Sam laughed. More now. He started sitting with Tom again at lunch, joined the school art club. He even helped another student with their science project. Something inside him had changed. He still sat at the park some days. The bench was still there. But now, he wasn't just remembering Lila. He was telling her about his days. And she was listening. One day, Lila messaged something that made his heart stop. "I'm coming back to visit Earth next month." Sam stared at the message for a long time. Then he replied, "Will you come to the park?" "Of course," she answered. "I want to see the bench again. And you." Didn't know what to say. His fingers shook slightly. She was coming back. And suddenly, everything felt possible. The days passed slowly, like clouds drifting across a quiet sky. Sam kept drawing, filled another sketchbook, this one with drawings of Earth and the park. One page even had a new version of their soda rocket. This time, it had 2 pilots in it, Sam and Lila, flying through the stars. Sometimes he still felt nervous. Would they still feel the same when they saw each other? But then he remembered something his teacher had once said. Courage is not about not being afraid. It's about doing the thing anyway. So Sam kept going. He smiled more at school. He helped his little sister with her homework. He cleaned his room. He didn't want to just wait for Lila to come back. He wanted to become the kind of person she would be proud of, not just because she was coming, but because he had found his way again, on the day before she was supposed to visit. Sam sat on the bench again. He brought DeSoto's just like old times. The sky above was full of stars. Though the sun hadn't fully set, he looked around the quiet park and whispered, "Thank you for remembering me, Lila." A breeze passed through the leaves. Sam smiled, because even though he was still waiting this time, he wasn't waiting in sadness. He was waiting in hope. And that made all the difference. Someone moved away, and the human heart refused to let go. Time and space can stretch between people, but the human heart waits. In this part, Sam and Lila finally meet again. Will it feel the same, or has everything changed? One moment. We'll tell the truth. Sam stood in the park, just by the old wooden bench. He held 2 orange sodas, one in each hand. The sky was a soft blue, with streaks of gold from the setting sun. He looked around. His heart was beating fast. His hands felt warm, even in the cool air. Lila had messaged earlier. "Landing soon. I'll be there in an hour." Now that hour had passed. Sam checked his communicator again. No new messages. He sat down on the bench and looked at the spot beside him. 3 months ago, space had felt empty. Today it felt full of hope. He closed his eyes and took a deep breath. Then he heard a voice. "Hey, space boy." Sam's eyes snapped open. There she was. Lila stood just a few steps away, smiling. Her hair was tied back. She wore a green jacket and held a backpack in one hand. She looked older somehow, like the months had added something quiet and strong to her, but her eyes still looked like home. Sam stood up slowly. For a moment, neither of them said anything. They just looked at each other. Then Lila stepped forward and hugged him. It wasn't a quick hug. It was the kind of hug that fills the cracked silence left behind. "I missed you," she whispered. Sam nodded, his voice soft. "I missed you too." They sat down on the bench together. He handed her the orange soda. She laughed. "You still bring these every time," Sam said with a small smile. "Even when you weren't here." Lila took a sip and leaned back. "This tastes like last summer." "Yeah," Sam said. "Everything else changed, not this." They talked for hours, about their schools, About new friends, about silly things, like how the food tasted different on her new planet. About serious things too, like how lonely it had been sometimes. I thought maybe I'd forget what Earth felt like, Lila said. But I didn't, and I never forgot you. Sam looked at her. I thought maybe you didn't care anymore. I did, she said. I just didn't know how to say it. Everything felt far away until you sent that message. Sam nodded. Slowly. Me too. They sat in silence for a moment. Then Sam pulled out his sketchbook. He showed her the pages. The rocket ships, the stars, the park, the bench. Even the drawing with the glowing thread that connected them across space. Lila ran her fingers over the paper. These are beautiful, she said. You've gotten really good. You told me to try, he said. So I did, she smiled. I'm glad you did. For the first time in a long time, Sam didn't feel distant anymore. He didn't feel like he was waiting because she was here. And even if she had to leave again someday, this moment mattered. It was real, as the sun dipped. Below the trees, Lila looked up at the sky. Do you think, she said slowly, that people can stay connected? Even if they're far apart? Sam thought for a moment. Then he said, if they try hard enough, I think they can. That's what I hope, Lila whispered. Sam handed her a blank page from his sketchbook. Draw something, he said, Lila. Blinked me. He nodded, something small, so I can remember today. She smiled and took the pencil. After a few quiet minutes, she turned the page toward him. She had drawn two people sitting on a bench under the stars just like now. But between them, she'd drawn a small rocket ship flying up into the sky, leaving a trail of light behind it. I like it, Sam said. It's us, she said softly. Still dreaming. They looked at the picture together. Then Sam whispered, I'm glad you came back. Lila leaned her head on his shoulder. Me too. And for that moment, the distance between them was gone. Because sometimes, when people care enough and hope enough and keep trying even stars apart they find their way back, someone moved away, and the human heart refused to let go. Reuniting with someone you missed is beautiful, but sometimes, it won't last forever. She know it won't last forever. Say, she will leave again. But this time, they make a promise, because humans don't let distance break. What matters? The days passed quickly. Lila had come back to Earth for just 1 week. Sam knew it from the start. But still, the days felt like dreams. They went to all their favorite places, the little bookstore near the school, the river where they once skipped stones, the small hill where they watched stars years ago. They laughed. They talked. They remembered, but in the quiet moments, Sam could feel it. The goodbye was coming. One evening, they sat on the hill again. The sky above was dark now, full of stars. The wind was cool, and both of them had brought blankets. They sat close together, sipping orange soda and looking up at the sky. Lila pointed at a small light moving across the stars. That's probably a transport shuttle, she said. Heading to another colony. Sam nodded. Maybe it's going where you live now. Maybe, Lila said softly. Silence followed. Then Sam asked the question he had been holding all week, so, when do you go back? Lila didn't answer right away. She pulled the blanket tighter around her. Tomorrow, she said finally. Sam looked down at the grass. He felt that old ache again. The one he thought had healed. But he didn't cry. He just took a deep breath. I thought I was ready, he said. But I'm not. Lila looked at him. Me neither. They sat quietly for a while, both staring at the stars. Finally, Sam spoke again. Last time you left, it felt like everything stopped. I didn't know how to reach you. I didn't know how to keep going. I felt the same, Lila whispered. That's why I didn't write back at first. I was afraid. Sam nodded, but this time, we don't have to be afraid. Lila turned toward him. What do you mean? Sam said. We can plan better. We can promise to write, can send voice messages, drawings, anything. We don't have to disappear from each other's lives. Lila smiled softly. You really believe that? Sam looked into her eyes. Yes. Because I know one thing for sure now. When people really care, they find a way. Lila looked back up at the sky, even across the stars. Even then. Sam said they spent the rest of the night making a plan. They would write every Friday, no matter what. They would send one drawing each week, something that made them smile. They would meet in the park again. 1 year from now, same bench. Same spot, even if the stars were far, even if time felt heavy, because now they knew distance didn't have to mean the end. It just meant they had to try harder. The next morning, Sam met Leela at the spaceport. She was wearing the same green jacket. Her backpack was full. Her communicator was tucked in the front pocket. They didn't say much. They just stood together, holding hands, until the loudspeaker called her name. Lila turned to him. Promise me, Sam. Promise you won't stop drawing. He nodded. Promise. Me, you won't stop believing. I promise. Then she reached into her bag and pulled out a small envelope. Don't open it until you miss me, she said. Sam took it gently. I'll probably open it today. Lila laughed in her eyes. Filled with tears. Me too. She hugged him tight. Then she walked away. Sam stood there, watching her go until the ship doors closed. He held the envelope in his hands. That night, Sam sat on the bench. He opened the envelope. Inside was a single sheet of paper. It was a drawing, too. Rockets flying side by side through space, and in the corner, in her handwriting, it said, Even if we're far apart, we're still under the same stars. Sam smiled. He looked up at the sky, the same sky she could see from her planet. Then he pulled out his sketchbook and began to draw. Because humans don't stop. Just because something is hard, they try. They reach out. They love across light years, across silence, across fear, and they never let go of the people who matter. Someone moved away, and the human heart refused to let go. Even after goodbye, the heart remembers. Time and space may stretch between two people, but humans hold on with letters, drawings, and hope. In this part, Sam learns that keeping a promise isn't always easy, but it's always worth it. The seasons changed. The leaves turned gold, then fell. The wind became colder. The sky looked different, but the stars still stayed. Sam sat on the same bench. It had been 3 months since Leela left again. He opened his sketchbook. It was almost full now. Every Friday, just like they promised, he sent her one drawing. She sent one back. Sometimes it was a funny cartoon. Sometimes it was a simple planet with hearts drawn around it. Sometimes it was just stars and a note, thinking of you. Sam smiled as he flipped through the pages. He missed her, of course. He missed her. Some days the missing was sharp. Other days it was soft, but it never left. And yet, he didn't feel alone anymore. Because now he knew she still cared. Their connection didn't fade. They were still part of each other's worlds. One Friday afternoon, Sam sat at his desk and stared at the blank page. He was supposed to draw something, but nothing came. His mind felt heavy. School had been hard that week. He had failed a test. He had argued with Tom. He felt tired, distant, for the first time in months. He thought about skipping the message. Maybe I'll send it tomorrow, he told himself. But then he looked at the wall, there taped above his desk, was Leela's first drawing. Even if we're far apart, we're still under the same stars. He took a deep breath. Then he picked up his pencil. Slowly, he drew a picture of a person standing under a cloudy sky, holding a lantern. Above them, tiny stars peeked through. He added a message under it. Some days feel cloudy, but I still believe the stars are there. He sent it. Lila replied the next morning. This made me smile. I had a cloudy week too, but your light reached me, always. Sam's chest felt warm. He realized something then. They weren't just sending pictures. They were sending each their strength. Hope a reminder, you're not alone. Weeks passed. Sam got better at school. He joined a new group of students who liked drawing too. He even helped organize a space art show at the local library. He put his best pieces on display, including one of the park bench and the two rockets. Flying together, people smiled at the drawings. Some asked questions. One woman said, "There's a lot of heart in your work. What inspired you?" Sam just smiled. Someone special. That night, Sam sent Lila a photo of the art show. She replied within minutes, "I'm so proud of you." Then another message came. "You're really growing, Sam." He stared at those words for a long time, because it was true. He was growing, missing. Someone didn't mean standing still. It meant learning how to carry love forward, to grow around it, to keep moving. Even when your heart ached, winter arrived. The nights were longer. Sam still went to the park sometimes, even when it was cold. He wore thick gloves and a scarf and sat on the bench with warm cocoa instead of soda. He sketched the snowy trees, stars behind bare branches. He looked up at the sky and smiled. "I'm keeping the promise, Lila," he whispered. "And I hope you are too." His communicator buzzed in his pocket. A message from Lila. "Next month, I'll be back." 1 year, just like we planned. Same bench, same time. Sam laughed softly. The promise they made was still alive, because they had held on, even when it was hard, even when they were sad, even when the world felt far. Asterisk. Someone moved away, and the human heart refused to let go. 1 year has passed. The waiting is over. Promise is about to be kept. In this final part, Sam and Lila meet again stronger, wiser, and full of hope. Because when the heart refuses to give up, it finds its way back. Sam stood at the park entrance, holding 2 orange sodas. The air smelled like spring fresh grass, soft flowers, warm sun. The trees were starting to bloom again. The sky was clear and blue. It had been 1 year, exactly 1 year, since Lila sat beside him on the old wooden bench and said goodbye. That day they had made a promise. Same bench, same time. 1 year. From now, and Sam was here right on time. He looked around. Everything felt the same, but he didn't. In 1 year, he had changed. He was taller, a little braver, a little quieter, maybe, but stronger. He still missed Lila, but the missing had turned into something beautiful. It had taught him how to care deeply, how to wait with patience, and how to keep a promise no matter what. Sam walked to the bench and sat down. He placed 1 soda on her side, like always. Then he waited. His hands were steady, but his heart beat fast. 10 minutes passed. Then 20. Sam checked his communicator. No messages yet. Still, he didn't panic, because he believed. Because this time, he knew something he didn't know before. Distance wasn't stronger than love, and when people truly cared, they come back. Then he heard footsteps, slow, familiar. He turned his head. There she was, Lila. She wore a soft blue jacket and a backpack. Her hair was longer. She had that same warm smile. Her eyes sparkled in the sunlight. Sam stood up as she approached. For a few seconds, they just stared at each other. Then, without a word, Lila rushed forward and hugged him. This hug was different. From the first one a year ago, it was full of everything, every missed message. Every drawing, every starry night spent apart. "I can't believe it's been a year," she whispered. Sam smiled, counted every week. They sat on the bench. She picked up the soda and laughed. "You still bring these?" I never stopped. Sam said. Lila opened her bag and pulled out something carefully wrapped in cloth. "I made this for you," she said. Inside was a small wooden box. On the top, carved in neat letters, were the words, "Same stars, same sky. Always." Sam opened the box. Inside were tiny folded papers, mini drawings, and notes she had made throughout the year. Little rockets, stars. Messages like, "Keep drawing. You're strong. I never stop thinking of you." Sam's eyes filled with tears, but he smiled through them. "This is perfect," he said softly. They sat for a long time talking. Yes. Not just about their year apart, but about what they wanted next. Lila would stay for a few months. Maybe longer. Maybe even return to school on Earth. Wouldn't it be strange, she said, if we finally got to sit on this bench together every week again? Sam laughed. I think it would be wonderful. He looked around at the park. It had been quiet for so long, but now it felt full again. Full of laughter, full of hope, full of promise as the sun began to set. Sam pulled out his sketchbook. He turned to a fresh page. Then he handed it to Lila. Want to draw something together? He asked. Lila grinned. Always. They each took a side. Together, they drew the old bench, the park trees, the stars above and 2 rockets flying side by side. Sam added one final line. Beneath the drawing, no matter the distance, we found our way back. Lila read the words, then looked at him. Humans are really something, she said. Sam nodded. Yeah, we don't give up. They closed the book and leaned back, side by side. The stars appeared, one by one, and under the same sky on the same bench. 2 hearts that had once felt so far apart were now together again, because they never let go, because they believed, because they hoped, and that made all the difference.